他在你的学长家做。
Banyak je.
他也会一起进去。为什么太阳晒到我们这边？之前我们不都姓楚吗？
They always keep a cake every day, but I don't always keep. Just in case I will. Di belakang kita. Di saksi. Yeah. Okay, now I go to shop. Kenapa? Pasti kemudian dapat.
Come. All right. Okay. Can we hand over to you what I call a media statement? But I have only about 20 copies. Yes. Yeah. Why don't you then you share?
I think we do it. I think we do it after.
We do it after.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I think it's a lot better to give now because there's some detail. Okay. What did you give in the middle, Sam? Yeah, this side. Pasir around this side. This side. All right. Berapa? Okay. All right. Now, I've called up for the press conference for 2 or 3 main reasons. Because many of you have been asking me the development and also the significance of the last few days of the cross-examination. So let's take the first thing first. If you look at the media statement, you will find that in the prosecution skills, what they have done was they have introduced only 2 of the entries of the transmission of fund from overseas into Datuk Sri Najib's account. All right, you have the first 2, namely USD about 10 million, and the next one is also USD about 10 million. Now, both this sender is named as Prince Faisal bin Turki bin Bandar Al Saud. Both of them. One is dated on 23rd February 2011. The other one is 13th June 2011. But in truth, this is very important for you to bear in mind. We have just proven by way of cross-examination, it is not only 2, because there is another 5. We do not know why the prosecution did not want to produce it, but we have produced it, and you can see it in page 2. All these were not produced by the prosecution, but we produced it in our cross-examination, and you will find significantly that this money, some of them came from the Ministry of Finance, Riyadh. You look at the first one, right on top. It came from Ministry of Finance, Riyadh. At least 2, the first 2, and then followed by Prince Faisal again, and then followed by Prince Faisal in the next 2. Now, the point that I want to make is this, that some of these monies that were sent to Datuk Sri Najib's account were truly from the Saudi Arabian, what they call it, Ministry of Finance. So it is written here, Ministry of Finance, Saudi Arabian Monetary Agency, that sent the actual money to Datuk Sri Najib. The first one was about 50 million US. Second one was about 30 million US. The rest followed by Prince Faisal again. Now, Prince Faisal was obviously acting on behalf of the Saudi government. to send the money. All right. So there are two issues. One is we are disputing that these monies was rerouted from one MDB to somewhere else, and then it came to the Datuk Seri Najib's account. We are disputing that. We want the prosecution to prove it. But secondly, more importantly, if Datuk Seri Najib received this money from sources like Saudi Arabian Monetary Agency or from the Ministry of Finance, Riyadh, what would be the state of his knowledge? His knowledge will be that the Saudi are sending him money. Now, he wouldn't know any better. So the knowledge of Datuk Seri Najib becomes very relevant. Because in order to prove the crime against Datuk Seri Najib, you have to show not only that the money came into his account, assuming the prosecution can show the money actually originated from one MDB. The second thing they have to show is that Datuk Seri Najib knew that this money actually originated from one MDB. So, with this information that we have proven, which the prosecution was not interested to prove, we proved the other 5. We have shown that at least 2 of the transaction, with the biggest transaction, actually came from the Ministry of Finance, which is Saudi. All right? So, what Datuk Seri Najib has always claimed, that he has always believed that this is a donation money from Saudi, is proven to a certain extent. That will importantly demolish any idea that people say that he has the knowledge that the money actually originated from one MDB. Because in truth, some of this money actually came from Saudi government, and therefore, in actuality, the money really came from Saudi government, and secondly, he doesn't have the knowledge that it came from one MDB. Right? So this is the critical aspect of the press statement. But the press statement nampak macam long. It looks like it's long because we have attached therein all the documents that will tell you where the money comes from. Every single one you will find there is an attachment. All right? So now, before I go into the next topic, can I ask you if you have any question so that I can answer? Yes.
Is this intended to court, the letter?
Sorry?
Is this intended to court?
No, this is the press statement.
No, I mean the letter.
Letter has gone into the court. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So are you tendering it as evidence or something?
Yes, it is already in court as evidence.
And second one, is it the same letter used for SRC trial?
No, they're different. They're different. Like this one is different because it's a different amount. It's got nothing to do with the 42 million.
Not the document that Justice Mazlan rejected.
No. You see, SRC is local money. It never came from overseas. You understand? They claim it's from SRC, a local company that went into a local account. So don't get confused. These are money that came from overseas. It's a lot more than the 42 million. So there are 2 different things altogether. All right? So I have shown you how the money came in, who sent. So it is not merely a claim that it came from the Saudi government, Ministry of Finance. It is actually in document. And this document, we forced it out to be produced because the prosecution didn't produce. The prosecution only showed 2 documents, which is transmission from a person called Prince Faisal. Prince Faisal is also a member of the royalty of Saudi Arabia. All right? Anybody, any other question?
Actually, would the defense call anyone from Saudi Arabia monetary agency to actually confirm this?
It is not our job to do it. It is the prosecution's job to call and prove that, or rather disprove, because they are the one who receive it. Now, the other set of document that you have here is important to your question. Now, if you look at, there are 4 documents like this. You have it here. There are 4 documents like this. These are documents from this Saud Abdul Aziz Majid Al Saud, okay, one of the royalties from Saudi Arabia, he sent this document not only to Datuk Sri Najib, but he sent this document for the attention of the bank, because the bank receive it and they chop it. This is M-Bank. Okay, these letters say that the money that they are sending to Datuk Sri Najib account are for Datuk Sri Najib use. Like for instance, the first document is 100 million US. If you look at it, 100 million US. All right, and why they give it to Datuk Sri Najib, they also mention. Okay, not because they love Datuk Sri Najib, but because they like the idea that Datuk Sri Najib was doing something good for the nation, and apparently he is a leader in the Islamic world, and he governs the country in a moderate fashion, not extremist fashion of Islamic value. So because of that, they have rendered assistance. All right. Now, second letter, you will also see a similar kind of format letterhead, but this time it involved a different set of money, 375 million US. Also, look at this, it is chopped by the bank. The bank received it because they sent it to the bank as well. Now, I'll tell you in a short while what happened to this letter. Then you look at the third letter, different dates. Take note, they're all different dates. And this letter actually says that the amount is a gift, and this time they're sending 800 million US. You remember that you were calculating 2.6 billion and all that? If you calculate all this, you'll find that that's the answer. 800 million US is being sent by Prince Abdul Aziz Al Saud on the date of March 1st, 2030. Now, let me read to you a small part of what they said as a sample. It says this letter is issued as a gesture of good faith and to clarify. I wish to state that I do not expect to receive any personal benefit, whether directly or indirectly, as a result of the gift. The gift should not in any way and in any event be construed as an act of corruption, since this is against the practice of Islam, and I personally do not encourage such practices in any manner whatsoever. This is merely a personal token of appreciation, and I'm hoping that the gift would encourage you to continue with your good work to promote Islam around the world. So this is some of the basis. If some of you attended the SRC punya trial, you will know that we have produced evidence, which we will do likewise here, that there was a meeting with King Abdullah, but that will come only during defense, if defense is called. The last letter was not tendered, but it was not tendered in this trial yet, but it was tendered in the SRC. This letter is another one. This is Great Britain pound of 50 million. All right. So this will show you, because these are the letters you will hear in evidence. The bank received it. Chia Teck Kwang, the group managing director of M-Bank, he took the 4 letters to Bank Negara. In fact, he saw Bank Negara Governor, Tan Sri Zeti. That evidence will be unfolded very soon. But I'm giving this to you because I want to demolish any idea that what we are talking about are rumors. We are merely, creating stories. These are documents actually in the hands of the prosecution. We got it from the prosecution. We didn't have it. Because the bank has got it, Bank Negara has got it. Okay? All right. So that is as far as transmission of money is concerned. Any questions so far? All right? Okay. There is an interesting aspect. From all these monies that has been received, we also have got confirmation today from the bank. that 620 million US after the election. You remember the election of 2013? After the election, 620 million US. Soon after the election, about a month or so, Datuk Sri Najib sent back the money because that money came from through Singapore, from the same account. He sent it back. You will hear evidence why he sent it back, but I can tell you now, the evidence is simple, because he has used enough for the election and he's returning to the donor the balance of the money, which is 620 million. But very interestingly, 620 million, at the time when he was sending it back, because our currency has weakened and the US have become stronger, even at that time in 2013, what he sent back is almost equivalent to what was the 2.6 billion. Because he used about 300 million Malaysian for the election and so on. About that. Don't hold me to that figure. It's about that. I'm giving you just a ballpark figure. So the balance bila dihantar is 620 US, but again equivalent to almost 2.6 billion Malaysian. So to round up, who would steal money? First of all, from one enemy, his own companies. The money left the country, and then you bring it back into your own backyard in one M-Bank. And not only in M-Bank, put it in your own account. And then you spend it not on yourself, but you spend it on UMNO, you spend it on political purposes, and so on and so on. And then the balance, hantar balik. So it doesn't look like a typical case of someone who stole money, and their action would have been quite drastically different. Okay, I'll close this chapter. I ask you whether you got any questions pertaining to this. No question? All right. Yeah. Now, there is a second issue. Many of you have asked me whether Datuk Sri Najib, there is any movement to ask Datuk Sri Najib to be attending Parliament today. Okay, we have written to the Prison Director General. That was last Wednesday. Last Wednesday or so, we wrote. Oh, no. I mean earlier than that. Earlier than that. What date was it? Yeah, I think on the 19th we wrote, and finally they replied to us. They won't allow because they said on grounds of keselamatan. Okay, I find the on ground of keselamatan a bit odd, because surely Parliament is a lot safer than the building here, because here is exposed to the public. When he goes to the toilet, no doubt escorted, it is a public toilet. Other members of the public is using it. He's in the court. It is the biggest public space, because court is an open court. So, if here as well as the hospital, there is no issue of security, how could there be issue of security in Parliament? Because Parliament has got their own securities, and the prison and the police can ensure further securities, because this can be always arranged. Very importantly also, I have written a letter to the Speaker of Parliament, Tan Sri Azhar, and he himself has said that because there are two documents, one is a pardon that has gone in within 14 days, the other one is an application for review under Regulation 137, also within the 14 days. Once Datuk Sri Najib has done the 14 days, within 14 days, either of these, but we did both, then he is automatically not disqualified. So he remains as an MP until these two matters are decided by the appropriate authorities. One is by the court, the other is by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, or until the next general election. So quite clear. So he remained as an MP. So the speaker said, because he is an MP, if the president send him to parliament, he will allow Datuk Sri Najib to participate as an MP in the Dewan Rakyat. How they manage the security is a simple issue of collaboration between parliament and the president. All right? So, because we have received the rejection from the Director General, we have written an appeal to the Minister of Home Affairs, which is Datuk Sri Hamzah Zainuddin. Yeah, we have written an appeal, but we didn't get the answer yet. So, if tomorrow by 12 noon, we don't receive any answer, we are filing for a judicial review. A judicial review. So be careful. A review under 137 is not the same as judicial review. The review under 137 is in the federal court because we want to review the federal court judgment. So obviously only the federal court can review their own judgment. But under judicial review is the High Court. So we'll have to file it in the High Court. This is to correct the wrong decision that we think the prison has made. Because we think that the reason that they gave, namely grounds of security, keselamatan, is not logical because of what I told you. Because Parliament is a lot more safer than the courts and so on. So we will file for a judicial review tomorrow morning, which means, after 12 noon, which means we'll have to get leave first. Leave means kebenaran. Ya, dapat kebenaran daripada Mahkamah Tinggi, dan kemudian we proceed untuk buat permohonan judicial review secara substantif. Alright, that will happen tomorrow. Okay, so now before I move on any further, any question on the second issue? When? We put in on the 19th. We put in sometime about maybe 12 days ago, but they replied after we have insisted that they should reply quickly. But they were quite kind. They replied quite quickly. About 4 days later, 4 or 5 days later, that they are not allowing it on grounds of security. So because of that, I straight away appeal to the Minister of Home Affairs. Yes, to the Home Affairs Minister, not Minister, to the Minister. Okay, so he should reply, but so far he has not replied. But maybe because I sent it last Friday. Okay, today is only what, Monday? Today is only Monday. So that's why we are going to give it to him until tomorrow. So if he doesn't reply, because under normal circumstances, we would of course give any ministry longer period. But Parliament is already sitting. Time is already short. So if by tomorrow 12 noon we don't get reply, or we get unfavorable reply, we will file for judicial review. The ground, okay. The ground is this: if the Speaker of Parliament has recognized by the law, and the law is not just ordinary law, it is the Constitution, Perlembagaan Persekutuan. The Constitution itself, under Article 48, says clearly that if you file for pardon, if you file for any other application in court, yeah, your membership as an MP is retained until decision is made with regards to the application. Or alternatively, if there is going to be a new general election. Because if there's a new general election, nobody is any longer any MP. Understand? All right. Yes. All right. We have cited Section 31 of the Prison Act, which has never been cited before. This is the best section. In fact, it is almost made for this kind of purpose. I remember Datuk Sri Anwar applied before, but I'm not so sure about the circumstances. But I'm quite curious why he did not apply under Section 31. He applied under Section 13, bracket 1, according to the newspaper report. Yeah, unless the newspaper report is wrong. But 13, 13, bracket 1. But under Section 31 of the Prison Act, it says this, that the Director General have got powers for a reasonable reason, yeah, for reasons reasonable to him, to transport any prisoner from any prison to any place in Malaysia. It is his discretion. So, we applied under 31. And we know only 31 gives him that power. And in fact, in the Commonwealth, Section 31 equivalent is also there. So, we told him, under 31, you got this power. And we told the Minister of Home Affairs also the same thing. But when he says for reasonable reason, you have to provide a reasonable reason. So, it is because of that, we don't accept grounds of security as reasonable. Because you can produce him here, he can go to public toilet escorted by 2 men. He can be in open court, in the midst of members of the public. It can be in the hospital where other members of the public are being treated. There is no security issue. How could there be a security issue in Parliament? It is the most secure building. So to me, that is not logical, not reasonable. It is in fact, how would I say, irrational. Under judicial review, any decision made by a public servant or an official functionary of the government, just like the Director General of Prison, if it is irrational or unreasonable, you can challenge it. And that's why we are challenging. This is the first time such a challenge, in fact, the President even told me, this is the first time such a challenge has been taken. And I think it is an important issue because it should set a precedent for every MP. Every MP who gets into trouble, hopefully there's not many, but every MP that gets into trouble, as long as they're still an MP, as long as the decision has not been fully made, whether they're guilty or not, they should be able to perform their function as an MP. Otherwise, why declare them still an MP if it is an MP promise? If you are an MP, still an MP, you must surely be able to do your job as an MP. All right? Yes, one of the thing is for him to be able to attend throughout Parliament sitting as an MP. And I've also mentioned that they can take security measures. They can collaborate with Parliament how the security measures is to be taken. All right? So it is up to them. And we have given a reasonable ground for them to act. That's number one. Number two, we have also asked, but that's not the subject matter of the application for the judicial review. We have told the President that at least 2 to 3 times a week, his political aide from the constituency should be able to visit him to take instruction what to do in his constituency so that the people of his constituency can be serviced. Because otherwise, the people do not have an MP that can function for their benefit. So we wrote also for that. And thirdly, this may be a little bit more difficult to manage, but it is not impossible. Once in a while, he should be able, as long as he is an MP, he should be able to be escorted to his constituency in order to hear the grouses of his people, and then to delegate the work to his aides, whether there is any solution to their problem, and to render assistance. And then he come back to the prison.
So you actually asked for 3 things.
Yes.
In the 19 letter to the prison, you
Yeah.
asked for 3 things.
Yes.
And they rejected all 3 based on the same reason?
No, I emphasize that the immediate answer that I want is about Parliament, because the others are not so relevant at this moment, because Parliament is sitting. They can't be going to Pekan and all that, because Parliament is sitting. So I wanted the DG to answer me about attendance in Parliament. So that's the answer he given me, only one, namely that he is not allowed to attend Parliament on grounds of keselamatan. To me, it is not rational.
Shafee, just to confirm, you said you have given a letter of offering to the Home Minister on last Friday.
Yeah.
That the prison department rejected on last Friday, is it?
Yes, same day. Same day.
So for the 2 other applications about the Pekan constituency, that is not part of it.
Sorry?
The 2 other applications about the Pekan constituency, that will not be part of your judicial review if the Home Minister doesn't reply by you.
The main one will be about Parliament. Okay, but we have also mentioned which decision they did not take. They did not give. In fact, interestingly, you asked that question. You see, not only my client is not able to see his political aides to give direction, like in court, his political aide is here. He's not allowed to see him for a few minutes to take instruction. He's not allowed. It's only lawyers and relatives. Lawyers have got our own limitation. We lawyers, we do the case. But political aides, they have got their own function. They've got direction to take from their leader. He's still an MP. If he's still an MP, then you make sure, treat him as an MP for purposes of his duty. I'm not saying you must give him the privilege, all the privileges that a free MP gets. But his duty as an MP, the main one, is to attend Parliament and to contribute towards the discussion in Parliament. That, we think, is the most important function.
But does the prison rules, does the existing prison rules and laws allow for anyone besides lawyers and family members to meet a prisoner?
To visit.
To meet a prisoner, because you're saying the political aid didn't have access. So could it be that because of the prison rules
No.
that only limited to lawyers
No.
and family members?
This is what I'm saying. If he's an MP, treat him as an MP. What is the use of being an MP in name only? And what security problem will you have? Is even, I would say, zero. If a political aid is coming to the prison, give him a right to see the Dato' Sri Najib, whether using the telephone face-to-face or contact visit, 1 or 2 or 3 of them, or one at a time. It is up to the prison. And they can take the instruction as to what to do next in the constituency of Pekan. Otherwise, Pekan is not being serviced by an MP. Alright?
Actually, there are overlaps between Parliament dates, the one Rakyat dates and the one NDB trial.
Yes.
This is seen as an attempt to delay the trial if you're trying to get the 59%.
But I think you know the answer. It will be a stupid thing for anyone to ask that question. I'm sorry, because it's silly. You can make an issue out of nothing. But if Parliament is sitting, you remember the late Mr. Karpal, every single day in Parliament, he got an excuse to go out from the court. Are you saying Mr. Karpal was ponting the Mahkamah? No. And he wasn't even charged. He was just a lawyer. But he said, I'm an MP first, a lawyer second. So every time they gave him. So, likewise, my client is still an MP. And you know now the circumstances. Parliament may not last that long. We do not know. Yeah? There's a lot of rumors. And in Malaysia, rumors are normally true. So, you will see that time is a bit hard pressed for us. We need for him to attend because this is the critical moment of Parliament. And what's the difference? Because he has been attending court almost all the time, except for those periods where somehow somebody is sick, he is sick, or COVID, whatever. But the trial has been proceeding. I'm sure you kept a record of how many days trial already. So if there is a, let's say 10 days delay because he has to attend Parliament, so what? This is a parliamentary duty. Anything else?
Or would you at least arrange rearrange the trial date, replace the trial date?
For this year alone, we got another 30 days. We can't possibly put some more. For next year, maybe. This year alone, we got 30 more days. And that is by arrangement from us. I mean, we could have easily said, we got this case, that case, that case. We could have easily said it. But we are very honest lawyers. We say, these dates, we can compromise. We can postpone other small cases. We give way to this case. So you can see that my client and the team of lawyers, they're not interested in delaying the case. Otherwise, we won't volunteer the dates. We got other cases, mind you. And mind you, there are other cases where my client are in the prison. But the courts have given priority to 1MDB and SRC and other cases of Dato' Sri Najib. For some reason or other, which they know best. But we comply. Any other question? Yeah, good. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.